Hi guys, UFC 208 is in the book. If you didn't manage to watch this, there were some good fights on here. The main event really wasn't one of them. We have a new champion from Holland, Durandamy. This could have been a very, very different result if the referee, Todd Anderson, had punished Durandamy for twice hitting Holly home after the bell. In the end of the second round, she caught her with a really hard shot, maybe the best shot of the fight. That could have been a point deduction. And then again, at the end of round 3, she hit her with what looked like a couple of shots. And Todd Anderson basically told her, oh, if you do it again, we'll take a point. In the end, the fight was disappointing. Holly wanted to hold on and push her up against the fence. Not a lot of exchanging. I think it's fair to say Holly was throwing a lot more, but it's very difficult to say how much of that was landing. It didn't look like a lot of it was landing. Holly was throwing in bunches, and then Durandamy was countering with one or two hard shots. I said when I was scoring this as it was live, I said round 1 probably could have been given to Holly because of her work up against the fence. The same in round 2. I think either of those could have gone either way though. The third round, I think Durandamy was having a much better round and then got head kicked by Holly. So, that could have swung the round for Holly. In the fourth round, again, another close round, Holly pushing her up against the fence. So, on the scorecard, that could have been 2-2 or 4-0 either way, depending on the referee's perspective, the judge's perspective rather. And again, a lot of pressing on the fence in the 5th, but she did land a big shot with the left hand, straight left, in the 5th. But in the end, all the judges decided to give it to Durandamy. And if there had been a point or 2 points deducted because of the late illegal shots, it would have changed the result for sure. Going into the co-main event, again, another one with not a lot of action. The crowd was really behind Anderson Silva. I think this was a tight first round. Brunson had some good exchanges. He landed a lot of uppercuts when Anderson caught him in the tie clinch. I think both guys landed some good shots. And again, it came down to the judges, how the judges were seeing this. I think you could have argued either way. My feeling was Silva controlled the first round, the positioning in the first round a little bit better. The second round was a little bit slower. I scored it for Brunson, in fact. But Silva was showing a lot more in the last minute of the round, even throwing some capoeira out there. The third round, I felt Brunson won it with a takedown and his control. There wasn't much threatening for him to finish the fight, but then again, there wasn't much action from Anderson Silva. I picked Anderson to win this. I said he was going to win by TKO. I really wanted Anderson to win, and the fact that he actually won the decision left me quite confused. I was a little disappointed with the judging there. I think that they were affected by the crowd cheering more than anything than what happened, but I'd have to go back and look at the fight to score it properly. The main two, the final 2 fights on the card were not that great, to be honest. Going back one, Jacare versus Tim Boetsch, this was a much better fight, and this was a real show of high-level grappling from Jacare. It was a very easy first round for him. He took down Boetsch. Smooth transitions, grabbed hold of the arm and just pushed for the Kimura. It was over very quickly, very smooth. Jacare is extremely high level, and I know next it's going to be Yoel Romero. I don't know who Jacare is going to face off against. Hopefully Rockhold will come back and fight him. That would be great. The Cannonier and Glover Teixeira fight, again, was a bit of a stinker. This was mainly Glover Teixeira taking down Cannonier. Cannonier had rocked him late in the first round, but for most of the round, Glover had taken him down and controlled him on the ground without really threatening much in way of a submission or a ground and pound. The second round really exposed Cannonier's takedown defense as non-existent. This was a strong round of control but little damage for Teixeira again. And going into the third, Cannonier really needed a knockout. However, Glover Teixeira took him down early again and controlled him without doing any significant damage. It doesn't really answer any of my questions about whether Glover's chin's up to it anymore. He did look quite good in terms of controlling the fight on the ground, but he wasn't ever in a position, I think, to threaten the victory. So 3 stinkers and 1 good one. Now, the opening fight of the main card I thought was fight of the night. Absolutely great fight. It was mainly standing in the first round, and I thought Dustin Poirier looked really, really slick. Miller got him down and took his back at the end of the first round, but not at the end of the first round. In the first round, the round ended with both guys on the feet, trading heavy blows. The second round was really big for Poirier on the stand-up, and I think if Miller, at the end of the second round, I thought if Miller wanted to win this, he really needed to take it to the ground to submit or control him on the ground, and hope he got the judges' scorecard. That was completely wrong. The third round started out and Miller was kicking Poirier's lead leg really low. He caught him a few times really hard and did some bad damage to Poirier. Poirier actually ended up shooting on Miller. He enjoyed a lot of top control, but it was Miller who was looking for submissions off his back. And I think the first and third round were up for debate about who won them. For me, for sure, that was fight of the night. The winner by a majority decision was Dustin Poirier, but he looks like that leg is badly beaten up. Okay, the final fight of the prelims was Randy Brown versus Belal Muhammad. This was a late edition, and I hadn't made a prediction for this one. But I was excited to see the fight anyway. First round, Muhammad came out and destroyed Brown's lead leg with over 20 leg kicks. I think it was 24 in the end, on inside and outside of the leg. Then the second round, really, Belal ended very strongly. He had Randy's back and was landing heavy shots. It appeared that Brown also poked Belal in the eye, and he was constantly extending his fingers, which is now illegal. And with DC and commentary, he was all over this, because that's one of the favorite moves of John Jones. So Rogan and DC were talking about this constantly. Belal had a good third round as well, a lot of ground control. Randy Brown was very active with his back, looking for arm bars, and then he finished the round strongly too, but unanimous decision to Belal Muhammad. The previous fight was Wilson Reyes versus Ulka Sasaki. Now, Sasaki is huge for that division. He's a really tall guy, but he doesn't fight tall. He kind of crouches down to get into the fight. I thought he enjoyed some success on the feet, but Reyes controlled most of the first round on the floor. Sasaki did try for the Kimura a couple of times, which I thought was interesting, but I scored the round for Reyes. The second round, there was a great ground battle as Sasaki fought off Reyes' multiple attacks. I felt his long torso really helped him out when Reyes was going for the neck cranks. Like, he couldn't flatten him out properly. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's what it looked like to me. I would have said that was a really strong round for Reyes. I would have given it 10-8. Then going into the third, Sasaki knows he needs a finish. I thought he had a good third round, even winning a scramble and taking Reyes' back. He landed some nasty elbows from there. But in the end, everybody had all the judges had it 29-28 for Reyes. But Sasaki can be happy, I think his stock has risen in defeat. Then the previous fight to that was Nick Lenz versus Islam Makhachev. Most of the first round was spent with Makhachev on top of Lentz. Twice Lentz went for guillotines and Makhachev never really threatened a submission. The second round, Islam was looking very impressive on the feet, actually the best I've seen him look. Even scored a few big head kicks, but then went to the ground and he just controlled it again. The third round was another strong round of ground control for Makhachev. He even got in some strong ground and pound. I think it was a good dominant victory. Obviously DC is his teammate, and DC thought he should be trying to finish. He's a little bit critical. The scorecards were very telling. 2 30-25s, 1 30-27 for Islam Makhachev. The best part for me though was in the post-fight interview, he called for Dana to give him the money fight against Floyd Mayweather. Of course, he's the teammate of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Oh God, I fucked that one up, didn't I? Nurmagomedov, and Hugh Connor is ducking and wanting to fight against Mayweather. It's far too early here. 7:25 where I am. The Rick Glenn Philip Nova fight was quite an interesting affair. The first round I felt was a strong finish for Rick Glenn. Nova landed the better shots early. He landed some really good flush shots, but Glenn just ate them like they were nothing and kept pressing forward. The second round was fairly even, striking exchanges, but I think Glenn probably won by virtue of his control against the fence. Having seen that early, my initial instincts were I really hate seeing the rounds won like this. And then, the main event was pretty much just the same thing, someone pressing against the fence and not offering too much. The third round was tough to call because at distance Nova was winning in the striking exchanges, which is strange because Glenn was the bigger guy. But again, Glenn managed to push him up against the fence. The winner by split decision for 2 29-28s against 1 30-27 for Glenn was Nova. So one guy completely scored it for Glenn and two ended 29-28. So strange decisions all around. The first fight at night saw Ryan LaFleur take on Ronan Canero. This was a pretty even first round, but I think a few strong body kicks early on from LaFleur stole it. The second round, LaFleur knocked down Canero twice with a left hand. First might have been a bit of a slip, but the second was flush. Clear win for LaFleur, and going into the third, Canero really needed to finish things. The third was a better round for Canero, even though early on in the round he hit his head on the TV camera when backing up. I think it's the first time I've ever seen such a thing happen in MMA. Winner by unanimous decision, not surprising, Ryan LaFleur. In terms of the commentary, the first time we saw Anik, Rogan and DC in the booth together, I thought they really complemented each other well. It's the best I've seen DC before. When he's been in the booth, I wasn't overly impressed with him, but I thought it really worked well with Rogan and Anik. Anik most of the time stayed out of the way and let Rogan and DC call things, and then Anik chirped in with the filler between the fights. So I look forward to seeing them again. That'll probably be 209, which is going to be a great card. So check out the up and coming predictions for 209.